The following afternoon, Zeb's mother Denise filed a missing persons report.
Ready to explore the dark side? Today we unveil the chilling mysteries and bizarre sketches that challenge everything you know about justice and identity. Stay tuned for 20 tales that grip your psyche and won't let go. Number 1. DeAndre Charles. In the vibrant streets of Miami in 2014, a story that seems ripped from a comic strip unfolds, leading to a real-life tragedy and a bewildering mix-up. A rabbi named John Raskins tragically loses his life, and the key to catching his assailant? A witness sketch so cartoonish it could belong in an episode of Bob's Burgers. Amidst the sun-soaked chaos, a witness steps forward, offering a sketch to the police. This isn't just any sketch, it's a caricature reminiscent of prime-time animation, casting the suspect in a humorously exaggerated light. The police, undeterred by its comical appearance, set their sights on a suspect, 14-year-old DeAndre Charles. The sketch, mocked by many, surprisingly resembles DeAndre, akin to those novelty apps that transform your face into animated versions. This resemblance propels the police into action, finally convinced they found their man. The media juxtaposes DeAndre's mugshot with the sketch, igniting public debate over its legitimacy. However, the reliance on this sketch is more than a lead, but as a quasi-evidence soon spirals into controversy. DeAndre's life is upheaved as he faces trial for 3 years, the shadow of accusation looming large, all stemming from a piece of art that seemed more at home in a satirical cartoon than a criminal investigation. The introduction of DNA evidence casts a stark light on the truth. What? Did they prove him guilty? Nope, DeAndre is innocent. The surreal reality of facing serious charges is based on a sketch that wouldn't look out of place on a fridge door. DeAndre's story pivots from a potential life behind bars to a quest for justice through the courts and into a new chapter where he channels his experiences into music. As Papito L. Franklin's, he finds a voice in a tale that begins with a drawing and ends with exoneration. How does DeAndre's journey challenge our perceptions of evidence and our paths to finding the truth? Number 2. Jeffrey Dahmer. In the heart of Milwaukee, a gruesome tale unfolded that would shock the world. Jeffrey Dahmer, the Milwaukee cannibal.
I was branching out. That's when the cannibalism started. Eating of the heart and the arm muscle. It was a way of making me feel that they were a part of me.
Turned his dark fantasies into horrifying reality. From 1978 to 1991, Dahmer lured young men with promises of friendship or money, only to unveil a nightmare of murder and dismemberment. His apartment became a scene of unimaginable horror, where Dahmer not only killed, but also attempted to create zombies from his victims, driven by a twisted desire for companionship. The discovery of his crimes in 1991 revealed the extent of his brutality, leading to his arrest and conviction for 17 murders. Dahmer's chilling legacy questions the depths of human depravity and the signs society often misses. What drives a person to such extremes of violence? How can communities better protect themselves from such hidden predators? Number 3. The Girl in the Suitcase. Imagine stumbling upon 2 suitcases, each concealing a chilling secret: a woman's body. One is quickly named Laura Simonson, but the other? She remains a mystery. Her features were exaggerated into a grotesque caricature, desperate for identification. In 2014, this grim discovery set off a frantic investigation. The authorities, faced with a decomposed body beyond easy recognition, employ a bold strategy. They release a sketch, but not just any sketch. This one distorts the woman's features to the extreme, almost inhuman proportions, a tactic not meant to offend, but to stand out in the sea of faces we see daily. Enter the artist's eerie creation, a figure resembling a nightmarish blend of alien and chipmunk. High cheekbones, small eyes, and prominent teeth mark this visage, designed to trigger recognition by amplifying its most distinctive traits. Against all odds, the sketch's exaggerated features catch the eye of a family missing a loved one. The pronounced buck teeth, among other characteristics, eerily echo the appearance of Jenny Gomez, a name they hadn't uttered in far too long. This crucial lead allows authorities to match dental records, unveiling the second victim's identity. Jenny's tragic end comes to light.
Kenosha police say Steve Zalich told them he killed Jenny Gomez at this hotel more than a year ago, before it was being renovated into a Comfort Inn.
Killed by a former police officer on what was supposed to be a new beginning, their first date after meeting online. Her story, hidden within the confines of a nondescript suitcase, is brought to the forefront by a sketch artist's unconventional approach. Consider the balance between respect and necessity in solving crimes. Is the end always justified by the means, even when bizarre? Number 4. Ted Bundy. Charm can be deadly. Ted Bundy, a law student with a promising future, used his allure to become one of America's most infamous serial killers. Bundy's spree of violence in the 1970s terrified the nation. His ability to blend into society allowed him to evade capture multiple times, even escaping from custody twice. His acts of violence were not just brutal, they were cunning, with Bundy often returning to the scenes of his crimes. His escapes from custody added to his notoriety, challenging law enforcement's efforts to contain him. Bundy's final capture in Florida marked the end of a horrifying chapter, leading to his conviction and eventual execution, but not before he confessed to 30 homicides. Bundy's legacy is a haunting reminder of the monster that can hide behind a friendly facade. How did Bundy's charisma mask his true nature? What lessons have we learned about the psychology of serial killers? Number 5. Horrible drawing, great results. In the bustling central market of Lancaster, PA, an observant visit turns into an unexpected crime-solving moment. Jocelyn Park, armed with nothing but her keen eye and artistic skills, finds herself face to face with a peculiar scene. A man, unfamiliar and out of place, clutching a wad of cash behind a favorite stand. Jocelyn, not one to shy away from action, attempts to intervene, but ultimately decides to alert the authorities. However, before making the call, she realizes the fleeting nature of memory. With 2 art degrees to her name, she opts for a creative approach to ensure justice. She sketches the suspect. The result?
And I think we do have his description. Can we take that? Let's take his description. Okay, this is the guy.
A drawing that's less than professional, to put it kindly. The sketch, simplistic and crude, quickly becomes a sensation for all the wrong reasons. Viral mockery ensues, with laughs shared across social media platforms and even newsrooms struggling to keep a straight face. Amid the ridicule, Jocelyn stands firm, her confidence in her sketch unwavering. An officer recognizes the man in Jocelyn's drawing in a twist that feels straight out of a detective novel. Despite its rudimentary nature, the sketch sparks a connection, leading to a photo lineup and an identification by Jocelyn herself. Hung Fuok Win is apprehended thanks to what many deemed a childlike doodle. From the ashes of public scorn rises a story of vindication. Jocelyn's sketch, once the subject of endless jokes, is now hailed as a pivotal clue in cracking the case. Her ability to capture the essence of the suspect with a few simple lines turns her into an unlikely hero in the eyes of many. In a world quick to judge, how often do we overlook the potential of simplicity? Number 6. Jack the Ripper. In 1888, London's East End was cloaked in mist, a perfect veil for a predator lurking in its shadows. Jack the Ripper emerges, his name soon becoming synonymous with fear. This enigmatic figure preys upon the vulnerable women of Whitechapel, exploiting the foggy, gaslit streets to evade capture. The Ripper's crimes aren't just murders, they're morbid messages left for a society grappling with the rapid changes of the Industrial Revolution. Witnesses describe a man of medium height with a dark mustache and eyes that glint with sinister intelligence. Cloaked in a long coat, he moves through the streets with predatory grace. His victims, often women of the night, are found with surgical precision, a testament to his knowledge or madness. The Autumn of Terror reaches its zenith with the double event, 2 murders in one night, leaving the police and citizens in a state of panic. The killer's taunting letters to the police add a psychological twist to the physical horror, showcasing a mind as twisted as the deeds it conceives.
Sir Melville Macnaghten, the Scotland Yard's head of the Criminal Investigation Department in 1903, had a general suspicion of who the killer was.
Jack the Ripper vanishes as suddenly as he appears, leaving behind a legacy of fear and fascination that endures to this day. His identity remains one of the greatest mysteries of criminal history. Could modern forensics uncover the Ripper's identity? How does the legend of Jack the Ripper influence our perception of crime and punishment in an era far removed from the cobblestone streets of Victorian London? Number 7. The Crimes of Lettuce Head. A crime unfolds, and the only key to apprehending the culprit lies in the art of electronic facial identification, or EFIT. But what springs forth from this high-tech tool isn't your typical suspect description. Instead, it presents a face more suited to a salad bowl than a police lineup. Welcome to the bizarre world of the Lettuce Head EFIT. EFITs aim to bridge the gap between a witness's memory and a recognizable image. This technology hinges on witnesses describing features bit by bit, with the system generating variations until a face emerges that triggers recognition. However, the process isn't flawless, particularly regarding hair. Consider the case of an elderly victim who was robbed of 60 pounds and the subsequent police endeavor to apprehend the thief. The description provided was wavy blonde, graying hair. However, the Hampshire Constabulary released nothing short of extraordinary: a suspect with a head resembling a leafy green vegetable. The spokesperson's comment underscored the absurdity, attributing the mishap to technical problems with the quality of the hair. This EFIT, dubbed Lettuce Head by the internet, swiftly became a legend. Despite the distinct facial features, this vegetable villain remained at large, evading capture as skillfully as he blended into the produce section. The aftermath of this incident wasn't just a lesson in the limitations of EFIT technology, but also a testament to its unexpected ability to capture the public imagination. Lettuce Head remains unidentified, leaving us to ponder whether he returned to his roots. What are your thoughts? Could a more accurate EFIT have aided in apprehending the Lettuce Head burglar? Or was he destined to become a leafy legend, forever elusive? Number 8. Richard Ramirez. In 1985, Los Angeles faced a terror that walked in the dead of night. Richard Ramirez, later dubbed the Night Stalker, embarks on a spree of violence that holds Southern California in the grip of fear. Ramirez's attacks are characterized by their randomness and brutality, striking a chord of fear that anyone could be the next victim. His use of symbols and satanic references at crime scenes adds a chilling layer to his acts, suggesting a ritualistic component to his madness. Survivors describe Ramirez as a gaunt figure with wild, wide eyes that seemed to consume the light. His long, unkempt hair and foul smell add to the nightmare image that haunts their dreams. He leaves survivors with a message of darkness, a living embodiment of their worst fears. The community rallies, their fear turning to anger and determination. The public ultimately leads to his capture, recognizing him from a photograph and subduing him until the police arrive, a moment of collective action against a singular evil. Ramirez's trial is a media circus, his grinning visage contrasting the severity of his crimes. His death sentence offers little solace to those who survive, the scars of his terror still lingering. What does the Night Stalker's reign of terror reveal about the nature of fear in urban environments? How do communities rebuild in the aftermath of such indiscriminate violence?
Why on earth would you have hurt those people? Why did you kill those people?
No comments. I cannot answer it at this time.
Number 9. Big Mouth. Imagine scrolling through your Twitter feed and stumbling upon a police e-fit so bizarre that it looks more like a character from a children's book than a wanted criminal. The Warwickshire police, understanding the peculiarity of the image, brace themselves for the internet's reaction, even acknowledging its oddity up front. This peculiar story unfolds in Warwickshire, where a victim of a distraction burglary provides a description so unique that it challenges the boundaries of facial composite technology. The suspect, posing as a housing company worker, only manages a deceitful entry into the victim's home to commit theft. The police, tasked with turning the victim's description into an e-fit, release an image that soon becomes legendary for its exaggerated features. As the e-fit goes viral, it becomes clear that the internet finds a peculiar joy in its absurdity. Memes flourish, jokes spread, and the image earns its place in the Hall of Fame for internet comedy. Yet, amidst the laughter, the stark reality remains. A crime was committed, and a victim is left seeking justice. The climax of this saga isn't marked by a dramatic arrest or a cinematic showdown, but by the viral explosion of the e-fit. Warwickshire Police's unusual step of embracing the humor, hoping the increased exposure would aid their investigation, highlights the case's unique nature.
Who was seen at about 10 p.m. in Prada Luz on the night that Madeleine disappeared, walking towards the ocean with a child in his arms. The man is described as being white with dark hair. The child, 3 to 4 years of age, with blonde hair and pajamas. So it's really important for us to understand who this individual was.
Despite the widespread attention, the story of our toothy fairy doesn't end with a satisfying conclusion. The perpetrator remains at large, leaving a trail of memes in his wake, but no justice for the victim. Number 10. Eileen Wuornos. Eileen Wuornos' story challenges the archetypal image of a serial killer, presenting a narrative fraught with tragedy, violence, and societal neglect. Wuornos' life is a tapestry of abuse and exploitation, a journey from prostitute to perpetrator that blurs the lines of morality. Her crimes, while heinous, are imbued with a sense of tragic inevitability, a cycle of violence that society fails to interrupt. She kills 7 men between 1989 and 1990. Her relationship with Tyree Moore is the closest Wuornos has to a lifeline, yet it becomes the noose that tightens around her neck. While a relief to law enforcement, Moore's betrayal is a final act of abandonment that seals Wuornos' fate. Wuornos' capture and trial expose not just the crimes of one woman, but the systemic failures that contribute to her descent into violence. Her outspoken behavior in court, punctuated by anger and despair, offers a glimpse into the turmoil.
You sabotaged my ass, society, and the cops, and the system. A raped woman got executed and was used for books and movies and shit. Bladder climbs, the election, everything else. I got a big finger in all your faces, thanks a lot. You're an inhumane bunch of fucking living bastards and bitches, and you're gonna get your asses nuked in the end, and pretty soon it's coming.
Executed in 2002, Wuornos leaves behind a complex legacy, challenging society to reflect on the intersection of gender, violence, and justice. Being the 10th woman executed by the state of Florida, Wuornos' story forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about empathy, justice, and the possibility of redemption. Can society learn from its failure to protect those like Wuornos before they turn to violence? Number 11. John List Clay Bust. In a world where the line between art and forensic science blurs, one artist's deviation from the norm challenges artistic conventions and becomes a pivotal moment in criminal justice history. Picture a hyper-realistic clay bust, so lifelike it breathes new life into an 18-year-old cold case. Frank Bender, a renowned forensic artist, embarks on an unconventional journey in May 1989, armed with clay and unparalleled skill. His canvas, The Case of John List, is that of a man whose life reads like a tragic novel. Once a pillar of the community, with a seemingly perfect existence, until the veneer of perfection crumbles. Fired from his job, List's descent into despair culminates in the unthinkable, the murder of his own family, followed by a vanishing act that puzzles authorities for nearly 2 decades.
So what this machine can do is build a 3-dimensional surface mesh, computer surface mesh, of a human skull that we can then play with on the computer. We can scale it up and down, we can move it through space.
As Bender molds and shapes the clay, he's not just crafting a face, he's bridging the gap between past and present. His creation, an age-progressed bust of John List, is revealed to the world on America's Most Wanted, a daring move that merges artistry with the hunt for justice. This isn't just any representation, it's a 3-dimensional plea for closure, a call to action broadcast nationwide. Less than 2 weeks after the airing, the FBI descends upon Virginia, closing in on an accountant named Robert Clark. Inspired by the uncanny resemblance between Clark and Bender's bust, a vigilant viewer's tip leads to a breakthrough. The art of forensic reconstruction, embodied in a single clay bust, becomes the key to unmasking a fugitive. Fingerprint evidence seals Clark's fate, confirming he is indeed John List. The conviction in 1990 marks not just the end of List's flight from justice, but also a testament to the power of forensic artistry. Bender's work transcends traditional boundaries, offering a poignant reminder of art's impact beyond the confines of galleries and studios. Consider the profound implications of Bender's approach. How does clay sculpture's tactile, deeply personal touch elevate forensic artistry in a field dominated by digital advancements? Number 12. Cheryl Bowman. In the early morning hours of a 1989 day in Houston, searchers for aluminum cans uncover a chilling sight: the decomposing body of a woman. But it's not her state that captures the immediate attention. It's her adornment. Laden with jewelry, pristine teeth, and her nails polished red, contradicts the grim scene. Yet the most gripping detail emerges through an unusual sketch, depicting her with a smile, her hand concealing the top half of her face. This woman, shrouded in mystery, is later identified as Cheryl Bowman. The origins of her case are murky, surrounded by speculation and scarce facts. The sketch, however, breathes life into her story, showcasing her defining features while simultaneously veiling the circumstances of her demise. The depiction of Cheryl with her hand over her face fuels narratives of tragedy and concealment. Some theorize this pose hints at the unspeakable damage beneath, a face marred beyond recognition, or a countenance bearing the brutal marks of her end. This interpretation adds layers to a complex case, blending facts with speculated horror. The climax of Cheryl's story remains her identification, a moment that pierces through the fog of anonymity. Yet, how she is identified from such a cryptic portrayal remains a mystery, adding to the enigmatic nature of her case. Encapsulated by a haunting and mystifying sketch, Cheryl Bowman's story leaves a legacy of questions. The circumstances of her demise, obscured by time and speculation, continue to puzzle those who encounter her story. What truths lie hidden behind Cheryl's smile? As internet sleuths delve into her case, the hope for answers remains. Could this peculiar sketch hold more clues than we realize? The mystery of Cheryl Bowman invites us to look closer, challenging us to uncover the story behind the smile. Number 13. Glenn Edwin Rundles. A robbery suspect sketch so comically basic it could pass for a cartoon character. Yet this rudimentary drawing becomes the key to capturing a criminal. In a twist of fate, witnesses and the suspect acknowledge its surprising accuracy.
Police sketch. Let's take a look at it.
No, this is the greatest sketch of all time.
That is
greatest sketch of all time.
That is bananas. Now, okay, so that actually did help capture the suspect.
In a small town, an unusual event unfolds following a knife-point robbery. The authorities release a sketch so simplistic it borders on the absurd. This isn't just any sketch. It's derived from the accounts of two witnesses who confirmed, yup, that's him. Enter Glenn Edwin Rundles, the man behind the crime, unsuspectingly spotlighted by a doodle. An officer familiar with the locals spots the sketch. Despite its simplicity, it reminds him of Rundles. The victims are shown the drawing, and without hesitation, they identify him as the perpetrator. The sketch, seemingly laughable, becomes a pivotal piece of evidence. Rundles, upon seeing his cartoonish portrayal in the paper, recognizes himself. In a desperate move, he attempts to alter a tattoo on his neck, thinking it might disguise his identity. Confronted by his illustrated likeness, Rundles decides to change his appearance. It's a race against his capture, a testament to the unexpected power of a simple sketch. Rundles' efforts to disguise himself are in vain. Initially mocked for its simplicity, the sketch proves its worth by leading to his arrest. It's a reminder that sometimes less is more, even in criminal identification. Can you imagine recognizing yourself in a cartoonish sketch from a news report? What would you do if a seemingly trivial drawing of you put you in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons? Number 14. The Ina Jane Doe. Stumbling upon a severed head while walking through Wayne Fitzgerald State Park in Illinois. That's precisely what happened in 1993, leading to the discovery of a mysterious case that remains unsolved for nearly 3 decades. The initial clue? A police sketch that becomes infamous for its eerie, exaggerated depiction of the victim, known only as the Ina Jane Doe.
Using this, he did, which made the woman look more ghoulish than human. But why make her look so uncanny?
In the quiet expanse of the park, 2 girls find themselves face to face with a grim discovery: a human head. Its features distorted not just by the ravages of time, but by a condition known as Reinach syndrome. This rare disorder twists the neck, tilting the head at an unusual angle, a detail that heavily influences the haunting police sketch. As the investigation unfolds, the sketch, intended to jog potential witnesses' memories, becomes a focal point of fascination and fear. Amplifying the victim's facial asymmetry and the tilt of her head, the artist aims to capture the essence of the Ina Jane Doe. Yet despite the sketch's widespread distribution, leads dry up and the case grows cold. Fast forward to 2022, when a breakthrough in DNA technology finally offers a name: Susan Hope Lund. For 29 years, the woman's true identity behind the ghoulish sketch remains a mystery. Why her case is selected for re-examination remains speculation, but the notoriety of the sketch itself may play a role. With Susan's identity revealed, a family's decades-long torment could finally find closure. Yet the relief of knowing what happened to their loved one brings new questions. How did Susan meet her untimely end? And who is responsible for her murder? As this chilling tale continues to circulate online, one can't help but wonder, will the widespread recognition of the sketch, now linked to Susan Hope Lund, finally lead to justice? What do you think it will take to solve this enduring mystery? 15. Timothy David Nelson Jr. In the quiet town of Cranbrook, Pennsylvania, a chilling abduction unfolds, marking a day like any other with terror that remains unsolved for years. On September 19, 1999, a 10-year-old girl and her friends encounter a nightmare in broad daylight as a teal car circles ominously. This story, weaving dark turns into haunting face, unfolds a tale of survival, mystery, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Cranbrook, Pennsylvania, a small town where everyone believes they're safe from the horrors typically associated with big cities, serves as the backdrop for this harrowing event. The key figure, a young girl whose day out with friends transforms into a fight for her life, becomes the center of a criminal investigation spanning decades. The assailant, driving a nondescript teal car, initially appears as just another passerby, innocuously asking questions about a yard sale. The tranquility of a simple walk alongside the road shatters when the man, after several passes, stops his car and approaches the girls under a benign pretext. Within moments, the unnamed girl is forcibly taken and a terrifying journey begins. Down the state route I-60 towards Berlin, the assailant reveals a handgun, threatening the girl's life if she does not cease her screams. The violence escalates as he strikes her, a prelude to the unspeakable acts that follow in a secluded location in West Virginia. This journey traverses the rural landscapes of Pennsylvania and West Virginia and delves into the darkest recesses of human capability. The perpetrator, in a chilling moment of pseudo-normalcy, forces the girl to cleanse herself with paper bags, an act that later becomes a crucial piece of evidence. After enduring unimaginable terror, the girl is left by the roadside with instructions that could be seen as a mockery of childhood innocence. Count to 100 before seeking help. Her resilience in the face of such horror, walking to safety and eventually alerting the police, marks a turning point in her story and the following investigation. The discovery of the paper bags and subsequent forensic analysis provides silent witnesses to the crimes committed. However, it is not until years later, through persistent re-examination of DNA evidence and the advent of new technology, that Timothy D. Nelson is identified as the assailant. His arrest and matching DNA samples to other unsolved cases underscore the importance of tenacity in the face of cold trials.
We brought Timothy Nelson Jr. to justice, and through that we were able to bring some measure of closure and finality, and yes, freedom to this courageous young woman, and to ensure that justice has been done in this case.
How would you react if the face of your worst nightmare were a distorted caricature, yet all too real? Number 16. Joanna Lopez. In the still of the night, after the usual sign-off at WMAQ, a Chicago TV station, viewers unexpectedly confront an image that haunts the city's collective memory. It's January of 1989, when television serves as the primary window to the world for many, and what appears on that screen is both a mystery and a plea: the photo of missing Joanna Lopez. The photo of Joanna Lopez, accompanied by a phone number for tips, is not part of the planned programming. It appears suddenly, without explanation, after the station's sign-off, transforming the television into a silent sentinel bearing witness to a person's disappearance. This occurrence is not a one-time event. It repeated in 1991 under eerily similar circumstances, deepening the enigma. The photo of Joanna Lopez becomes a nocturnal fixture, an unsolved puzzle that captivates and unnerves the city. Despite the widespread exposure, details about Joanna's life, disappearance, and existence outside this context remain elusive. The phone number provided alongside her image leads to various public services over the years, each unrelated to her case, further complicating the mystery. In May of 1994, an unidentified Jane Doe is discovered in a Chicago alleyway. Some speculate that this could be the missing Joanna Lopez, though evidence to support this theory is scant. The investigation into Jane Doe's death hits a dead end when the killer professes an inability to recall the name of the woman he had killed. Decades pass with little progress until a glimmer of hope emerges from an unexpected source. A Reddit moderator dedicated to the Joanna Lopez case. In February of 2022, a breakthrough seemed possible when the moderator contacted a woman matching Joanna's details, who confirmed she had run away from home at 18. Yet the call ends abruptly, with promises of further contact that echo the past's unfulfilled promises. A missing person or hoax? Honestly, I'm not sure. Number 17. Pyre Case. In the quiet Colorado countryside, Charles Dmer seeks the simple pleasure of hunting magpies and scavenging spent ammunition. Yet, on September 30th, 1952, nestled in a small gulch off Highway 119, 6.5 miles south of Black Hawk, he uncovers a horror that has haunted the area for decades. Hidden beneath a charred log lies not the expected detritus of nature, but the remnants of human life, reduced to 15 pounds of flesh and bone. This area, familiar to Dmer from countless previous visits, reveals its dark secret in the form of a pyre soaked in the smell of gasoline, suggesting a gruesome attempt to erase a person's existence. The subsequent investigation unearths more than just the tragic remains. A rhinestone necklace, a fragment of sequined cloth, and various personal items sketch a vague portrait of the victim, a woman suspected of being killed and burned. The discovery prompts multiple visits by Dmer before he reports to the authorities, a detail that casts a shadow of suspicion in his direction. Investigators piece together a chilling timeline, estimating the woman's death to have occurred approximately 20 days prior. Her life likely ends by blunt force trauma to the head. Among the eerie findings is a small patch of hair clinging to her skull and a leg seemingly displaced by animal activity. The case takes a turn when a woman reports seeing Dmer's truck near the site on September 10th, exactly 20 days before the body is discovered, aligning with the autopsy's timeline. Despite this lead, Dmer's subsequent lie detector tests and even a truth serum interrogation failed to link him to the crime conclusively. Dmer's life unravels in the aftermath, marked by a swift divorce and a relocation, as the case grows cold. The murder weapon, a bloodied stick found near the scene, and the inconclusive results of Dmer's interrogations leave more questions than answers. To this day, the identity of the woman, the motive for her murder, and the perpetrator remain a mystery, a chilling reminder of the dark capabilities of human nature.
There are many reconstructions of what authorities presume this woman to look like, but only one of them is truly terrifying. This, like with most disturbing sketches, is another wildly disproportionate face.
What leads a person to commit such a heinous act, and what might have been done differently that could have brought justice to her memory? Now, I'll let you judge the similarities between these sketches and the criminals they intend to portray. Number 18. Joseph James DeAngelo. Also known as the Golden State Killer, DeAngelo committed 13 murders, 50 sexual assaults, and 120 burglaries across California for 43 years, starting in 1975 and ending with his arrest in 2018. He was a former cop in the areas where the crimes occurred, which kept his cover until genetic genealogy linked him to the crimes. Number 19. David Berkowitz. The son of Sam, killed 6 people and terrorized the city of New York for more than a year. Once he was arrested, Berkowitz claimed his neighbor's pet Labrador, which was named Sam, was possessed by a demon and told him to commit the murders. Number 20. Zeb Quinn. The year 2000 ushers in not just a new millennium, but a perplexing mystery in Asheville, North Carolina. Zeb Quinn, an 18-year-old with aspirations and dreams, disappears into the night, leaving behind a narrative so entangled it defies belief. Zeb, an electronics employee at Walmart, plans to buy a car with his co-worker, Robert Jason Owens. Their journey begins innocently in the Walmart parking lot, transitioning to a nearby gas station where cameras capture their last known movements together. The night takes a surreal turn when Zeb, after receiving a page, rushes to a payphone. He returns to Owens, frantic, announcing the need to abandon their plans. His hasty departure culminates in a minor collision with Owens' truck, marking the last moment Zeb is seen. Hours later, Owens lands in the hospital, claiming injuries from a separate incident, yet no accident report surfaces.
The following afternoon, Zeb's mother Denise filed a missing persons report.
The discovery of Zeb's car outside a restaurant injects a new level of mystery. Inside, police find a live puppy, bizarre symbols drawn in lipstick, and an unrelated jacket. The sketch from witnesses' descriptions of a person seen driving Zeb's car is most intriguing. This sketch resembles Misty Taylor, entwined in Zeb's final days through a complex web of romantic and threatening connections. Fast forward to 2017, Owens' arrest for Zeb's murder unravels a narrative of planned violence, implicating figures from Zeb's tangled personal life. Owens' plea in 2022 sheds light on a plot rooted in jealousy and violence, yet the whole truth of Zeb Quinn's fate remains shrouded in shadows. What secrets lie in the heart of Asheville, and what truths does the sketch conceal? Amidst the intersecting lives and motives, can justice for Zeb Quinn ever emerge from the depths of this mystery? Found out extraordinary crime stories? More secrets are waiting for you. Watch our next video right now. Click and keep on learning with us. Don't miss it.